Hello, and welcome to this edition of Ritter's Rant. Today, we're going to be talking about interviews, in particular, Tucker Carlson's most recent interview with the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian. This is quite the coup that Tucker has pulled off, the first interview of the Iranian president by a Western outlet since the end of the 12-day conflict war between Israel and Iran, a conflict that the United States participated in dramatic fashion, sending 7 B-2 bombers over Iranian airspace, dropping bombs on Iran's nuclear facilities. And in the context of this interview, you have both Israel and the United States talking about the possibility of resuming conflict. So getting insight into what the Iranian president is thinking about how to prevent a war, under what conditions Iran would continue to pursue armed conflict. This is an extraordinarily valuable interview, or is it? See, the problem isn't the interview, and the problem isn't the interviewee. It's the interviewer himself, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has one of the largest audiences in social media today, millions of people, millions of subscribers. As he showed with his interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin in early 2004, he was able to generate over 1 billion views. That's unprecedented. Nobody's ever even come that close before. 1 billion views. But as he also demonstrated with his interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Tucker Carlson was ill-prepared for this interview. He wasn't ready to engage in the kind of substantive exchange with Vladimir Putin on issues of extreme complexity, issues of Russian history, Ukrainian history, issues that required the interviewer to be able to put into context the answers he was receiving from the interviewee. As many views as Tucker Carlson got about his interview with Vladimir Putin, understand today, hardly anybody can tell you about the substance of the interview. There was no news made other than the fact that an interview actually took place. And this is a problem, because if one of the goals of the interview with Vladimir Putin was to expose the American people to the Russian president so that they could be empowered with knowledge and information and help overcome the Russophobia that had gripped the nation, then he failed. Because by being ill-prepared for the interview, Tucker Carlson was ill-prepared to provide the proper context of Vladimir Putin's responses, leaving an American audience struggling to try and comprehend just what the hell was happening in front of them. And I would say that the same thing applies to the most recent interview with the Iranian president. A well-meaning interview, and it couldn't have been better timed. But the fact is, Tucker Carlson was ill-prepared to talk about the substance of Iran, to talk about the true root causes of this conflict between Israel and Iran, between the United States and Iran, to talk about the nuances of Iran's nuclear program. And on this one, I will also cast blame on the Iranian president himself. Today, inside Iran, the social media world is abuzz and strong criticism against the Iranian president for the answers he provided. If his goal was to expose the reality of Iranian decision-making processes, et cetera, to the American public, he failed because the Iranian people don't seem to agree with the answers that were given by the Iranian president. And if the Iranian people don't agree, that means that maybe the answers weren't the best answers, and whatever the American people take away from the answers won't be an accurate reflection of the reality in Iran today. No, this interview did not make headlines other than there was the interview itself. There's nothing in the answers provided by the Iranian president that have dominated the headlines, that is driving policy, that is going to change the world we live in, that has moved the needle one iota in terms of the Iranophobia that exists amongst the American people today. In short, this interview failed to accomplish what the interview should have accomplished, which is to enlighten people about the reality of Iran, to put the Iranian perspective out there for the American public to consider in its totality. But instead, we were treated to a very fluffy, feel-good interview that didn't advance the true understanding and true knowledge of the complexities of Iran today, just like Tucker Carlson failed to advance the true realities, the true complexities of Russia at the time he interviewed Vladimir Putin. Tucker Carlson has one of the best platforms available to anybody in media today. And it's not that Tucker Carlson can't be an effective interviewer. He can be, but he just has to be better prepared. And what I would ask Tucker Carlson to do in the future is consult genuine experts on the issues at hand before you address world leaders, because otherwise you just end up looking shallow in your interviews, end up being ineffective. That's my rant. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week or the next time a thought crosses my mind.